going on, everybody? Welcome back. I wanted to come on here really quick tonight and talk to you guys about The Exorcist Believer. I just got out of the theaters checking it out, so I wanted to come on here, give you my first initial thoughts coming out of the theater and what I went into, and then what I feel like coming out of the movie. So, again, I'll let a couple people jump in here in the chat if you guys can watch it live, and anybody who's watching it on the replay as well. I am not going to be on here long. I'm just going to give you my initial thoughts, spoiler free. So do not hesitate to come and watch this. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to give you my opinions on what I saw and what I expect. All right, I see Punisher Batman fan in the house. Witch Hunter is here. We have people checking it out now. So again, I have not checked anybody's review out. I was in a group chat where somebody who had seen it today, and I basically shut myself off from that chat up until I haven't even looked at it again because I didn't want my opinion persuaded in any way. When it came to Exorcist Believer, I'm a big Exorcist fan. If you know me, you know that. I was able to see the first one in theaters when it came back out in 2000. Big fan of part 3, 2, not so much. And then I was able to see Exorcist Dominion in the theater, or whatever one, beginning or Dominion, whatever one ended up coming to the theater. I think it was the beginning. I saw that in the theater as well. If you know The Exorcist, you know that the sequels are not that strong at all. Part 3 is an excellent sequel. The rest, not too good. So did this live up to the expectations on a good sequel? I don't know where this comes. I guess after part 1, because that's what David Gordon Green likes to do. He likes to take his trilogy and pop it in right after the original. And it seems like that's what he did here. Now, the reason I don't know for sure is because, again, I don't know much about this. I saw the initial trailer. I heard a little bit about David Gordon Green doing his own trilogy. I knew that people from the original one were supposed to be in this. I didn't know a lot about it. I'm not one that researches this kind of stuff because I want to go into it as open-minded as possible. And when it comes to the Halloween trilogy that David Gordon Green did, to me, it was okay. Like, I mean, it was fine. I know a lot of people have problems with it. To be honest, I thought 2018 was really good when I saw that. And I actually think 2018 Halloween is my least favorite out of the franchise that he did now. I find myself not enjoying that one that much. And going into Exorcist Believer, I was a little bit concerned. Like I said, I saw the original trailer, didn't do anything for me. I think I might even talked about that on a trailer reaction. Didn't really do much for me on the trailer. Kind of thought it looked a little bit sloppy. So I wasn't sure really what to expect here. And I really wanted to go into it as open-minded as possible. I do know that Rotten Tomatoes, because someone posted it in a group chat, gave it a low score. And that's all I knew. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go into this open-minded. I don't want to be persuaded in any direction. Was I interested in this? Yes, I was excited for this movie because, again, it was giving The Exorcist a little bit more of a resurgence. And I didn't expect it to be as good as the original, not even close. But I just wanted it to be something maybe I could enjoy for the next couple of years in this little trilogy here, because undertaking the Exorcist sequels or requels or whatever you want to do is something that not many people could and should do, because that original movie is a damn masterpiece. So to try to come into it and match that, it's not going to happen. I knew that. So I was concerned coming into this. I was intrigued coming into this. And what did I think? To be honest, I liked this more than I thought I was going to. I really did. I don't really have a lot of problems with it. I think this is better than the trailer made it seem. I think the story was pretty good. It kept me interested through the whole thing. I think it could have probably been 15 minutes shorter. I felt like there was a little bit of dragging at one point, but all in all, I mean, I think the acting of the kids was amazing. I think the story was intriguing. And my only gripes with this is, again, I have a couple gripes with the movie, and it's more or less on some of the characters, the dialogue. I feel like this, though, does feel very David Gordon Green. And not that that's a good or a bad thing, but I feel like the way this was shot, some of the characters and the way that they delivered lines and the personalities they were given and just the aesthetics of this movie felt very Halloween 2018, in my opinion. Like, I felt like when they were outside in the neighborhood, I'm like, you could pop Michael Myers right in here and it feel like it's part of this trilogy, right? Like, he has a specific style, and it really came off in this movie. Like, it wasn't one of those things where it's like, wow, it was so different than what he did for Halloween. Aesthetically, I felt like it was pretty similar, to be quite honest. So, but again, overall, this exceeded my expectations. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens next. Where do they go with this story? I'm not sure, you know? And to be honest, I could be on an island all by myself with this because I know 9 times out of 10 people were not excited about this at all. But I really don't care what people think. I have my own opinions on it, and you know me, I would be dead honest with if I thought this was junk. I didn't. I thought there was pieces of it that were a little bit meh, but I think all in all, I mean, I had fun with this movie. I think it was creepy when it needed to be. I There was some parts I expected more. There was some issues I had with some of the characters, some of the dialogue, but you know, my opinion might be a little bit different than others because I do have a 4-year-old son. So I think my opinion going into movies like this and watching movies that revolve around kids and now having one of my own, I definitely look at these movies a little bit different than I did previously. So, when I saw the original Exorcist, like I didn't have a kid. So I just don't think about things that way. And now that I do, and you see what these kids are going through and what the parents are going through, and you start to believe, like, wow, what if this was me? Or what if things were going on like this at my house? Like, you start to think things a little bit different, I think. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it too, is that I do feel that part of it was pretty successful in the sense that it made me feel a little bit uneasy. Like I talked about, if you guys don't know, we just dropped a community challenge over on the Rad Pack podcast YouTube channel talking about the 9 movies that scared me. And one of the things I mentioned was the movies that really, you know, freak me out a little bit are possession movies, alien movies, and found footage movies. So again, this was a possession movie, so it does make me feel a little bit uneasy at certain parts, and I think they did a pretty good job with the look of the kids. The kids themselves, I thought were amazing. I had no problems with them at all. I think they did a great job. So I'm gonna get to the chat in a second. I'm gonna kind of finish with the chat. But I wanna say, do I give this a rad or bad? If I had to choose one, I would go more rad. Like, I'm not saying this is like an 8 out of 10 movie. I'm gonna say for me, mm, 6.57, I'm gonna say about this one. So I would put it a little bit more on the rad meter than the bad meter. And this is definitely one I'll check out again, on physical media. And obviously, when the sequel hits, I'd probably want to rewatch this one again. Is it one that I'd rewatch all the time? Probably not, but it is one I'm intrigued to kind of check out again later down the road after, things have sunk in, and maybe I do a little bit more research and look at other people's reviews, and maybe there's things I missed and I want to go back and check out. But again, for the majority of the movie, I was entertained. I was kind of, left a little bit uneasy at times. So as much as I did have a couple problems with it, I think all in all, it exceeded my expectations. I'm going to go into the chat and see what you guys have to say. I haven't even looked at the chat yet, so you could be disagreeing with me, agreeing with me, say I haven't seen it yet. But I say see it. I say check it out for yourself. I think it was better than the trailer made it seem. Um, there's more that I want to say about this, but that's a little bit more spoiler. And if you guys want to hear a little bit more what I have to say about this in a spoiler type review, where you can find that is you can find that on this page. The Dead Pit Boys and myself are going to do a show called Hell and Back, the history of the Exorcist franchise. We're going to go through each movie from the franchise. That's when I think we're going to really hear, what I have to say about this movie when we get to Exorcist Believer. So again, that was just my opinion. I have a feeling it's going to be different than most people. I have a feeling a lot of people are not going to like this movie, but hey, I'm not everybody. So, guys, I'll go back to the chat and I will check out what you guys are saying. All right, let's see. Punisher Batman fan, what is up? Witch Hunter, what is up? Austin Taylor, 50/50. I totally understand that. Yeah, it's worth a check. I would definitely check it out. I agree. That was one of my issues with this, to be honest with you, and I saw another person in the chat mention something about this, but again, I'll tell you this, the theater was empty. It was, like, myself, my friend, and probably, like, 5 other people. So, I don't know if that's telling or not, or if it's just because it's a Thursday night. And at the end, some of the girls that were there were like, "Hey, what did you guys think of it?" And I was like, "Oh, it was better than I expected." She's like, "Me too. I just didn't really like the ending. I feel like we should have got more." And I said, "Well, it is the beginning of a trilogy, so they're probably waiting to give us more." And she's like, "Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." Oh, and she's telling her friends, like, "This is gonna be the trilogy. That's why the ending." So that to me is a problem too, is that when you know it's a trilogy going into it, my expectations on a killer ending weren't there. I had a feeling like, well, they're gonna do something because they're gonna have to continue this story, right? So again, I think announcing that it was a trilogy before this movie even hits was a huge mistake. Huge. They did that with Halloween, or at least they announced Halloween like right after opening weekend. Um, but yeah, I think trying to write a three-part story is hard. I don't know. I think you're right. They should have never announced it. Isaac, what's going on? Scratch Burno, what is up? Movie Junkie John did not like it. He thought it was a mess. Um, I didn't think it was that messy. I mean, I think there was definitely parts that I even said to my friend, like, "Who's this person? Why are they here? Oh, that was random." Like, I can see that there being some of a mess when it comes to specific characters and stuff like that. Um, Again, I can see it. I can see it, feeling rushed at some points, maybe not explaining enough. Are they trying to cram too much in? Because, I mean, I felt like it could have been shorter because there was parts that dragged, but I also feel like there was a lot of things that could have been explained more. So, again, do I think it took away from the movie? No, I thought it was gonna be a lot messier than it was. Um, yeah, like I said, I mean, all in all, it was better than my expectations. Now, do I think this is a great movie? No. Do I think this is the 3rd best Exorcist movie in the whole franchise? Is that difficult to say? Not really. It wasn't there hasn't been any good ones really except for part 3. So, I strongly believe this is definitely the 3rd best, even though there were some issues here and there. Movie fan, what's going on? Gus, what's up? Megavania fan, what is going on? I never saw X, so I can't even go about that. As like always, I think everything nowadays people are split, and they'll people be fighting on Twitter and all that other junk too, but not me. I don't have the time or patience to argue over my opinion on a movie. Perry, what's up? Just come back. Disappointing an ending was left. Sure. I mean, again, I think the ending was a letdown because there's 2 more stories to tell, so they can't really give us a nice close ending. Christian at Planet. Oh, so Christian did a review. Okay. So, all right, so at least I feel the same way Christian did, which is cool, which is cool. Um, another one in garbage profit. Sure. I mean, but again, I wouldn't at this point. I don't look at this as even like I don't compare it to the original at all. I mean, I'm gonna look at this as its own trilogy. So to me, to have some more Exorcist movies after this period of time, and even if it's a trilogy, like I'm curious to see the story they tell. That's all. I'm never gonna compare or contrast this to the original one. So do I think that they use the name? Sure. But I mean, that's what everybody's doing now. I would rather have more original movies like things like Talk to Me, Hereditary, Midsummer, X, Pearl. Those are the horror movies that I really come out and I'm like, oh, it's 8 out of 10, like this is awesome. Like I'm really hooked. And this, what I say, 6.5, exceeded expectations. I didn't have many expectations going in. Better than the trailer. I mean, I'm not praising this movie whatsoever, but I'm saying, hey, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, and it was better than I was going into hoping. Um, like I also said too, having a kid, I think really can change how you look at certain movies. And I feel like the first kind of half of this movie is a pretty creepy story. Um, it's like a drama almost, and I thought that they did a real good job with that. that aspect of it. 6 out of 10. It's kinda what I said to you. I can imagine, Dylan, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, again, it for what we get nowadays, it's not terrible. "What's up, Pat Master?" "Nina." "Hit the like button," says Pat. "Nina, what are you working? You watching me while you're working overnight? You're supposed to be busy over there, kid." I wouldn't know such a thing. "What up, Bryce?" "Don Morton, what's going on?" "Draculina horror. I just got back, still mixed feelings, letting it marinate." Sure, I totally understand. Yeah, I mean, again, I have mixed feelings too, but I think all in all, with based on what I was expecting, besides some, like I said, I had a little bit of issues with some characters, the development of the characters, the personality of some characters, the dialogue of some characters. But I think when it came to the kids and leading up to how things happened and the way they looked, I thought it was really good. Um, it would have been nice to expand a little bit more on specific things, but at the same time, I also feel like some other things could have been trimmed down a little bit too. What's up, Daniel? I really have hope for this movie. Definitely cool to hear you like that. Yeah. Again, I've seen a lot worse exorcism type movies in the theater or whatever. So not the worst. I am Breed, Nicholas. Dude, you know what? And that's the thing too. If you want if you want to take my opinion with a grain of salt, dude, like I actually am fine with Halloween Ends. Like I really am. Like I have no problems with it. If you go back and watch my review, if you go back and watch my ranking, I don't hate Halloween Ends at all. I think Halloween Ends is just fine. Do I think that it was kind of a mess in what we were expecting? Yeah, of course. Nobody thought that's what we were going to get. Nobody knew that's what we were going to get. When I was watching, I was like, wow, this is a pretty cool movie, but I don't really understand what it's the story it's trying to tell and why. Like it's confusing, but I also looked at ends from a different lens. And I think I'm one of the only people that I've seen bring up what I talked about in my review. And sometimes I'm like, the way the dialogue is in Halloween Ends, the way the movie kind of plays out, in my head, it almost feels like that movie was Laurie reading her memoirs because it comes off like the way that the act it's so bizarre that it almost makes me feel like I'm reading a book and like things are just kind of happening. And does this, correlate with her memoirs? I don't know. It's never said that, but a part of me just kind of felt like that's what they were trying to do, but nobody's ever come out and said that. But again, I don't mind ends. So if you absolutely hate ends, then I don't know if my opinion's even worth it to you when it comes to this movie because like I said, it does feel very David Gordon Green. Like I said it to my friends, I could plot Michael Myers in this movie and without, and it would fit based on the aesthetic of it. Blu-ray Addict, what's up? Does it end on a cliffhanger? I don't really wanna give that away. I think it's really up to nah, I don't wanna give that away. Video Man, what's up, Gizmo? Go check out Gizmo over at Video Man Gizmo. Sure, man. I'm burned out in the Possession Ghost movies with The Conjuring. Yeah, I'm actually really burned out with the ghost movies, to be honest. I have no if Conjuring 3 came out tomorrow, I wouldn't be rushing to the theater, to be honest. Um, like the same thing with Saw. I'll see Saw, but I mean, I'm not gonna rush to go see it. The Nun, I won't watch it. I hated the first one. I'm not even gonna give the second one a chance. I don't even want to bother with it. Even if people come in the chat and say it was pretty good, nah. The original Nun bummed me out so much that I have no interest in this story anymore. Insidious, I think it's still okay. But I think it's kind of running its course. And The Conjuring, the same thing. Antonis. Um, I never. Oh, you would recommend? I was gonna say I never saw that. Concentration. Yeah, I never seen it. And let me know in the chat too about Pope's exorcism because some people tell me that's actually good, and I've never watched that thing. Yeah, see. So again, most people do hate Halloween Ends. I agree, Blu-ray Addict. I think Talk to Me might be my favorite movie of the year. Yep, I agree. Thank you, dude. Yeah, some people are not gonna care about Exorcist the same way I don't care about Insidious. I mean, Insidious was okay, Conjuring, but I didn't see Insidious in the theater. The Conjuring or The Nun or whatever. Saw X, I mean, I'm curious, but I'm not crazy excited to go see it. I mean, it's very rare that I actually go to the theater nowadays. So the fact that I was there day one to see Exorcist Believer, like, shows that I was very intrigued by this. Thank you, Cody. Go see Dude Loves Movies. Says Roundhouse kick the like button. Exactly. It was very bizarre. It was very bizarre. Do I wish that they gave us a better ending to this trilogy? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think this was the ending we should have got, but it was a ballsy one and it was a bizarre one and it's over with. So I think at the end of the day, I kind of look at it and I'm just like, it is what it is. And as a movie, I don't think it was terrible. Sting! See, his Saw X was killer. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'll see it eventually. What's up, Mel? Go check out Mel at My Killer Podcast. One third of the Rad Pack. If you guys didn't know, we just started a community horror challenge. So go check out the Rad Pack Pod on YouTube and check out what the challenge is because I want you guys to be part of it. I feel like there are a lot more Ends fans out there than people want to admit. Sure. I agree. I totally agree. I think there's more people that like it that don't want to admit it. Definitely. And you know what? To find good ones is hard nowadays. Uh, cool, man. Yeah, I love Carpenter. Um, yeah, then do it, man. See, like, I don't like H2O. I don't like H2O at all. It's one of my least favorite Halloween movies, but I know a lot of people like H2O a lot. I saw H2O when it came out in the theater and I loved it. But then after that theater excitement wore off, I feel like the more and more I watch it, the less I like it. It did, yes. Brian goes blue. He's gonna put his Exorcist review up tomorrow. See, look at that. What's up, Brian? Um, that's cool. It is a classic, man. True. I mean, I think that they are, but I mean, again, I still thought they were pretty creepy in this movie for sure. I think that they could have did a little more with them, but for what we got, it was pretty creepy. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't really watch. I hated Resurrection when I saw it in the theater, and it's not one I ever go back to. Um, no, no, I actually think you probably might like it, Mel. Like I said, if you were here at the beginning of the chat, I explained that it exceeded my expectations. Um, 6.5, I would give this out of a 10. Um, I also think too is that, like I explained, is that my mindset when these seeing these kind of movies have changed a lot since having a kid. Like, when I saw Exorcist for the first time, I didn't. So I look at things differently. Now I kind of see like, what if something like this happened? And, what if, my kid went missing or whatever it may be, right? Like you kind of look at things a little bit from a different lens. And again, I felt like this felt very David Gordon Green, which I don't really love. I don't hate it either, but it just it had that feel, but I think at the same time there was a lot to it that I really enjoyed. But there was some stuff that I thought was a little bit sloppy. But as a whole, I think that this is better than it's over half and half for me. Like it's not great, but it's not terrible by any means. And I'm curious to see where it goes. Um, let me see what video. No, I do not. I do not. Yeah, I'm excited for the reboot. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, I agree. I hated it. Um, but yeah, I mean that. Oh, long as do I like horror? Oh, Laurie's Ark and H2O? Sure. I mean, I don't really care for the Laurie Strode that we got in the new movies, but, I just think the new movies are more entertaining. I mean, I think Halloween Kills and Ends is both better than H2O is. Um, Let me see. Yeah. So, again, that's about it, guys. It's less than 30 minutes in. I don't wanna make this long. You got my opinion on it. Like I said, it probably isn't gonna be the same as a lot of people's. It's great that that you heard some people kind of agree with what I'm saying on this. So if you're just coming in now, go feel free to check out the replay. It's short, kind of get my opinion on this. I recommend everybody checking it out. At the very least, check it out. It's good for horror if this does well. Maybe they'll put more effort into the sequel when if this does really well. Um, I think it is what it is. So support the horror community, support the horror genre. Go check this out, make your own opinion on it, and don't get sucked into what everybody else thinks. I'm assuming my opinions are probably going to be way different than Dead Pit's, which again, I'm fine with. But I say everybody should check it out at least and get your opinion on it because again, we are getting two more of these things. So it's either you're going to continue with this trilogy or you're going to be, this is it, one and done. So, gang, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming in and listening to what I had to say in the short period of time. There's a lot more coming on this channel. Like I said, I've got a Dead Pit show talking about all things Exorcist this month. So if you want to hear more spoilers of this movie, it'll be in a couple weeks on that show because I'm going to give you guys time to kind of check it out. So again, this is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, and like always, stay